chosen vaping as a long-term alternative for cigarettes or a method to gradually reduce nicotine consumption, which eventually will lead to total quitting. Similar to other nicotine replacement substances that exist currently, other therapies like gums, patches, there's lozenges, medications. Anybody who smokes or knows somebody who smokes knows what they are. Studies have shown that vapes and e-cigarettes do improve the quitting from typical tobacco cigarettes. And I did raise today, Mr. Speaker, in our caucus that there are places in Europe now where they are actually looking at, with the prescription of a doctor, that you'll actually be able to get a prescription to get a vape to help you get off of smoking, similar to how you'd have to get a prescription to get Champex or different types of medications that we have now. For me, it seems somewhat counterproductive. Unless most of the money that is going to be generated on this tax is going into education and preventative measures, it seems somewhat counterproductive to me that there be a tax put on something that is there to help people to quit smoking. I think that any smoker or anybody who wants to quit smoking and they're using vaping as a method to do that, it seems somewhat counterproductive to me. That is until I looked in our budget to see how much money we currently make on smoking. And I discovered that this year the projected revenues on tobacco products are $196 million. $196 million is what the province of Nova Scotia has in their budget, leading from traditional tobacco products. I now kind of understand why we want to keep people smoking and we don't want to encourage or provide opportunities or things to have people stop smoking, because we're making $196 million a year on smokers. So once again, if we are looking at taxing vaping products, which have been proven to be a method for people to quit smoking, it's too bad that some of that money couldn't go back into other alternatives to try to help people reduce the cost of if people don't want you to use vaping to quit smoking, then to go to help offset the cost of medications, lozenges, patches, or any of the other things that I currently spoke about. But when I see $196 million in a budget, I do recognize why we want everybody who smokes to keep smoking. I'm not saying that there's no harm to vaping. And, I know that studies have said that there are chemicals that are still in vapes, and I know that current evidence is there that shows it. However, what I will speak about for a minute is my personal experience in regard to vaping. I don't wake up coughing and hacking. I breathe better. I don't smell terrible like smoke. I just feel better when I vape. And so therefore, I recognize, once again, as I said earlier, I know that's my personal experience, but other people I've talked to have said the same things. And I'm not saying that there's no downsides to vaping, but I will say I do fundamentally believe, and studies have shown, that vaping is less harmful than smoking. And I've often said to somebody, I'd much rather be slapped in the face than punched in the face, and that's kind of how I feel when it comes to vaping versus cigarettes. I know that they're both going to hurt, but one hurts a little bit less.